Today we're diving into the trenches with the Astra Militarum Combat Patrol Box. Yes folks, it's time to marshal your miniature forces and prepare for a pint-sized parade of power. Let's go! The combat patrol for the Astra Militarum is called Karsk's Gunners, and inside this box you'll find Major Karsk and his fearless fighters, heroes who only need a bit of plastic glue to achieve immortality. And by immortality, I mean surviving longer than 3 turns on your battlefield. Let's take a look at the composition. You're going to get 5 command squad units, which are going to be these gentlemen up here. You're going to get 10 Cadian shock troopers, another 10 Cadian shock troopers. You're going to get 2 field ordnance batteries, and you're going to get 1 armored sentinel. That's going to give you a total of 28 models, coming in at 405 points. Price for the box, you can find this on the Games Workshop website for $160. At the time of recording, you could grab this off of Amazon for $129.13, and you can find it on eBay for $136. Next up, we're going to take a look at how we're going to equip our units in Karsk's Gunners. Let's take a look at the command squad first. Karsk himself, which is this fine-looking lad right here, is going to be equipped with a plasma pistol and a power weapon. Your Cadian veteran guardsman is going to be equipped with a bolt pistol and a power fist. 1 Cadian veteran guardsman is going to be equipped with a las gun and a close combat weapon. 1 Cadian veteran guardsman is equipped with a las gun, a close combat weapon, and a medipack. And 1 Cadian veteran guardsman is equipped with a las gun, close combat weapon, and a regimental standard. Hoorah! Next, you got Cadian shock troopers. I'm going to assume that these are going to be built the same, so let's just do the run for all 20 models or 2 units of 10. 1 shock trooper is actually, they're not, so let's do it separate. 1 shock trooper is equipped with a las pistol, a chainsword. 7 shock troopers are equipped with a las gun and close combat weapon. 1 shock trooper is equipped with a flamer and close combat weapon, and 1 shock trooper is equipped with a melt-a-gun and close combat weapon. That closes out that 10 models. The next 10 models, 1 shock trooper sergeant is going to be equipped with a drum-fed autogun and a close combat weapon. 6 shock troopers are going to be equipped with las gun, close combat weapon. 1 shock trooper is equipped with a las gun, close combat weapon, and a vox caster, so he could call for help. 1 shock trooper is equipped with a grenade launcher and close combat weapon. And finally, the last shock trooper in that unit is going to be equipped with a plasma gun and a close combat weapon. Your field ordnance batteries, 1 is going to be equipped with the bombast field gun, a las pistol, a battery, close combat weapons, and 1 model is going to be equipped with a Malaeus rocket launcher, las gun, las pistol, battery, close combat weapon. And finally, your armored sentinel is going to be equipped with a hunter-killer missile, a plasma cannon, and a close combat weapon. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Army rules, abilities, and enhancements for this combat patrol box. You're going to get 3 commands, your Army rules, 3 commands that you're going to be able to issue to different units in your Army. The first command is going to be move, 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 which is going to add 3 inches to the move characteristic of models in this unit. Second command is going to be take aim, which is going to improve the ballistic skill characteristic of ranged weapons equipped by models in this unit by 1. And finally, the third command is going to be take cover, which is going to improve the save characteristic of models in this unit by 1, but this cannot improve a model's save value to better than 3. So there you go. You got a little movement, you got a little shooting bonus, and you got a little hit bonus, and you have a little save bonus. So not spectacular, especially comparing, other combat patrol boxes, but you do have some decent, you do have a decent Army rule. Next up, we're going to take a look at the enhancements that you're going to be able to put on your Warlord, and for this box, obviously, it's Karsk. His default enhancement is called Command Laurels, which means in your command phase, if the bearer is on the battlefield, you gain 1 CP. In addition, each time the bearer issues an order, it is issued to all friendly Astra Militarum units on the battlefield. So this is a great way to pick up 1 extra command point and really blast those commands this is great because it's going to apply to every unit on the battlefield. Your secondary enhancement is Gunnery Officer. This is going to be an aura, and each time you roll to determine the number of attacks a model in that artillery unit makes with a weapon, you can re-roll the result. And models in that artillery unit have the Lone Operative ability if they have not made any attacks yet this battle. So as long as they don't attack, they're going to have the Lone Operative ability, which means that you're not going to be able to target them outside of 12 inches, which is a great way to give your artillery units durability. And every time you're going to roll for those attacks, because they're D6 attacks, you can re-roll that and fish for more hits. So two very nice enhancements that you could give your Warlord. But me personally, I really like the extra CP, and I like being able to give all of my units on the battlefield the same order. But you have options, which is good. Let's go ahead and take a look at the secondary objectives for this combat patrol box. Your default secondary objective is hold the line. At the end of your opponent's turn, you score 3 victory points if there are no enemy units wholly within your deployment zone, excluding battle-shocked units. If there are no enemy units wholly within 6 inches of your deployment zone, excluding battle-shocked units, you score 5 VP instead. Then your secondary objective is going to be methodical destruction. At the start of the battle round, select one enemy unit that is not destroyed to be your army's target for that battle round. At the end of that battle round, you score 4 VP if your army's target for that battle round is destroyed. So again, like most combat patrol boxes, you have a defensive secondary and you have an offensive secondary. Hold the line. Looks like you're going to be able to score 3 VP if there's no enemy units wholly within your deployment zone. If you keep them 6 inches out of your deployment zone, you're going to score 5. The destruction one, especially when you start the battle, you have a really good chance of scoring these by wiping enemy units off the board. You get 4 VP every time you wipe those enemy units off. So depends on if you want to play more, dug in, more defensive or more offensive, which secondary you're going to be able to take. Moving on, we're going to take a look at the stratagems for this battle force. Now remember, a stratagem is just a leg up. It's just a little advantage that you can use during your battle to give your army a better position or a better advantage on your opponent. So your first stratagem is called Send in the Wave, and this is going to happen in your reinforcement step of your movement phase. You're going to add a new unit to your army identical to your destroyed unit as its original starting strength. Set that unit up anywhere on the battlefield, wholly within 9 inches of your battlefield edge and not within engagement range of one or more enemy units. So this is actually going to let you bring back models. It's going to let you bring back units. Pretty dope. That's great, especially for those Cadian shock troopers, those units of 10. You're going to be able to blow 1 CP. Again, if you take the enhancement, that gives you that extra command point. You're going to be able to bring units back, not just models, but units. So that's pretty powerful. Next stratagem is bring it down until the end of the phase. Each time a model in one of your selected units makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, you can re-roll the hit roll. And this is going to happen in your shooting phase. This is going to allow you to re-roll hits. If you combine that with that other stratagem that allows you to re-roll how many attacks you get with your batteries, you're going to be able to re-roll attacks and you're going to be able to re-roll hits. That's pretty cool. And finally, the third stratagem is Artillery Strike. And this is going to happen at the start of your opponent's command phase. Until the end of the turn, half the move characteristic of enemy models, half advance rolls made for enemy units, and enemy units cannot declare a charge. And each time an enemy model makes a ranged attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. There is a restriction. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. This one's a little expensive. It's going to cost you 2 command points, but you're basically going to immobilize your opponent's army for 1 turn during the battle. So again, you can see where the enhancement that gives you an extra CP at the start of your command phase every turn, you know, you're going to pick up an extra 5 command points over your opponent. So you will have command points if you use them strategically to really command this army, which is pretty awesome. So some pretty decent stratagems overall. Definitely able to turn the tide of the battle. So pretty strong stuff here. So now it's time to jump into the meat and potatoes of this combat force. Let's start off with Command Squad Karsk. So you're going to get Karsk and the Veteran Guardsman. Now this is a leader unit, so you're going to be able to join these to your Cadian shock troops, which is really good. Bolt pistols, you got range 12 inches, 1 attack, hitting on 4, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. It is a pistol, so you'll be able to shoot these in combat. Remember, any weapon that has the pistol tag, you can shoot in combat. Your last gun is rapid fire 1, so if you're within half inch, you're going to get another attack. 1 attack, hitting on 4, strength 3, AP 0, damage 1. And then your plasma pistols, 12-inch range, you got your standard or the supercharge. Remember, if you roll supercharge, you have to take a hazardous test. And if you roll a 1, you are dead. Hitting on 4s for both. Standard is strength 7, supercharge is strength 8. Standard AP -2, supercharge -3. Damage for standard is 1, supercharged is 2. And then you're going to get your melee weapons. Your close combat weapons are fisticuffs, 2 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 3, AP 0, 1 damage. The Power Fist is going to have 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, strength 6, AP -2, damage 2. And the Power Weapon is going to have 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, 4 strength, AP -2, damage 1. There you go. Now, abilities, war gear abilities. If you have the Medipack, the Bearers unit has the Feel No Pain 6-up ability. Not awesome, but it does add some durability into one 10-man unit of Cadian shock troops. So that's at least you have a little bit of durability there. And then if you have the regimental standard, you're going to add 1 to the objective control characteristic of models in the Bearers unit. And remember that 1 stays after negative modifiers. So even if you fail a battle shock test, if you have that regiment standard, you're still going to have 1 objective control characteristic to the models in that unit. And then finally, orders. This unit's officer can issue 1 order to a regiment unit, but remember, we do have that enhancement that not only gives you a CP, but it also allows that order to be applied to your entire army. So super effective. He can only issue 1 order, but you have that enhancement that can make that 1 order apply to your entire army. So that's pretty cool. Field Ordnance Battery, they're going to move 4, toughness 5, save 4, 6 wounds, leadership of 7, and OC 2. The Bombast Field Gun is blast, which means for every 5 models in that opponent's unit, you're going to pick up an extra hit. It's heavy, so you're going to get a +1 bonus to your ballistic skill if you don't move. And it's indirect fire, which means that you do not have to have line of sight. You can actually hide these batteries behind buildings or behind terrain where your enemy can't see them, and you can fire anywhere 48 inches on the battlefield. D6 attacks, you do have that second enhancement that will allow you to re-roll how many attacks you can make. So if you're ordnance heavy, you really like those big guns, that might be the better enhancement to take. Hitting on 5, strength 7, AP -1, damage 2. Your last gun is rapid fire 1, which means you're going to get an extra attack if you're within 12 inches. 1 attack, hitting on 4, strength 3, AP 0, damage 1. The pistol is 12 inches, 1 attack, hitting on 4, strength 3, AP 0, damage 1. And the Malleus rocket launcher is blast and heavy, just like the Bombast field gun. 48-inch range, D6 +6 attacks, which you can fish for higher if you have the first enhancement. Hitting on 5s or 4s if you didn't move, strength 6, AP -1, damage 1. Your close combat weapon is basically fisticuffs, 3 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 3, AP 0, damage 1. And then they have an ability called Patrol Squads, which means at the start of the declare battle formation step, before any units have been set up, this unit can be split into 2 units, each containing 1 model. So that's pretty cool. You could split them up and put one on one side of the battlefield, another one on the other side of the battlefield, and their ability is rearm, reload, and fire. While this unit is being affected by an order, provided it remained stationary this turn, heavy weapons equipped by models in this unit have the sustained 1 hits ability. And remember, guys, with that second enhancement, if you don't attack with these guns and you just tuck them away behind terrain or even out in the open, as long as they don't fire, they have the lone operative ability, which means that they cannot be targeted outside of 12 inches. Cool. Cadian shock troops are going to move 6. Toughness is 3. Their save is 5. They have 1 wound. Their leadership characteristic is 7. And their objective control is 2. Not the most durable units in the world. I know they only have 1 wound. They have a 5 save. But remember, you do have a stratagem that allows you to bring entire units back. So you can bring these guys back. The drum-fed auto gun is 24 inches, 2 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 3, AP 0, damage 1. The flamer, remember that ignores cover, and it's also torrent, which means it automatically hits. You're going to get D6 attacks, automatically hits, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. The grenade launcher, you have 2 to choose from. You can do a frag, which is blast. It's going to give you that extra attack if you're targeting units 5 models or more. And you have crack. They're both 24 inches. The frag is D3 attacks. The crack is 1 attack. They're both hitting on 4s. Strength for the frag is 4. Strength for the crack is 9. AP for the frag is 0. AP for the crack is -2. And then finally, damage for the frag is 1. And damage for the crack is D3. I just like saying crack. Next, last gun, rapid fire, which means if you're within half range, you're going to get 1 attack, hit on 4, strength 3, AP 0, 1 damage. The pistol, again, which you can shoot when you're engagement range, is going to be 12 inches, 1 attack, hit on 4, strength 3, AP 0, damage 1. The Melta gun is Melta 2, and remember that 2 plus 2 damage is applied after any negative modifiers. Your range is 12 inches, 1 attack, hitting on 4s, strength 9, AP -4, D6 damage. If you're within 6 inches, it's going to be D6 plus 2. But if your opponent has like a skill or something that minuses 1 from the damage or halves damage, you're going to apply that Melta 2 extra damage after that modifier has already taken place. Next, again, plasma guns. These have 24-inch range. Both get 1 attack. They're hitting on 4s. Strength for standard is 7. Strength for supercharge is 8. AP for standard is -2. AP for supercharge is -3. Damage for standard is 1. Damage for supercharge is 2. And you do have to take that hazardous test. Finally, melee weapons, you got Chainsword, 3 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 3, AP 0, damage 1. And your close combat weapon, or fisticuffs, is going to be 1 attack, hitting on 4s, strength 3, AP 0, damage 1. They have no abilities, but remember, keep that CP in your pocket and bring these dudes back. All right, Cadian shock troops. Finally, the Armored Sentinel. You're moving 8 inches. Toughness 8, save 2, 7 wounds, leadership 7, objective control 2. You have a Hunter Killer Missile, which is 1 shot. Range is 48 inches, 1 attack. Ballistic skill is 4, strength 14, AP -3, damage D6. 1 shot. The bearer can only shoot this weapon once per battle. Not once per successful hit, not once per successful wound, once per battle. Just need to clarify. Plasma cannon, standard and overcharge. They're both 36 inches. They're both blast. You're going to pick up an extra attack for every 5 models. Hitting on 4s. Strength for standard is 7. Strength for supercharge is 8. AP for standard is 2. AP for supercharge is 3. Damage for standard is 1. Damage for supercharge is 2. Supercharge is also going to trigger that hazardous test. If you roll a 1, Sentinel go bye-bye. Sleepy time. Melee weapons, close combat weapon, or as I like to call them, stompy feet. You're going to get 2 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 6, AP 0, damage 1. This Sentinel has an ability called Deadly Demise 1, which means when the unit is destroyed, you're going to roll 1 dice. On a 6, every unit within 6 inches of this model is going to take 1 mortal wound. And you have the Mobile Hunter Killers. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets a monster or vehicle unit, you can re-roll the wound roll. There you go. All right, not bad. That's a look at the cards. Pretty decent. The ability to bring those Cadian shock troopers back, though, that's chef's kiss. All right, guys, and then finally, to close out the video, let's do our SWOT analysis. Let's take a look at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats to the Astra Militarum. Your strengths. First strength is going to be diverse unit composition. This combat patrol includes a variety of units such as a command squad, Karsk, Cadian shock troops, your field ordnance batteries, and an armored sentinel, and that offers a lot of flexibility in gameplay and strategy. Heavy weapons is also a strength. I mean, who doesn't like those batteries? Equipped with high impact weapons like plasma guns, melta guns, a Malleus rocket launcher. This box really does provide a significant tool set for offensive capabilities, especially when you start stacking those enhancements and you start stacking those stratagems. You have a lot of strategic things that you can do there, and that's the next strength, is the strategic abilities. Units like Command Squad Karsk can issue orders that enhance the performance of other units, such as, like we talked about, improving the ballistic skill, movement speeds, which can be decisive in gameplay. It really does allow you to turn the tide of battle if you use them strategically. And then finally, the enhancements and stratagems. Options like Gunnery Officer and stratagems like Artillery Strike and Bring It Down. These really do offer a tactical advantages by boosting unit effectiveness or disrupting enemy movements. So you got some really good tools in your arsenal for the Astra Militarum, and you kind of feel like they have to, right? Because they're just regular dudes out there on the battlefield, facing all these monstrosities that the, grim dark future has to offer. So I'm glad they have at least something. All right, let's look at the weaknesses. Complexity of use is going to be the first weakness. The variety of units and the strategic depth is probably going to be challenging for new players to utilize effectively without substantial knowledge of the game's mechanics. So I definitely would not recommend this army box to somebody that is brand new to the 40K world. If you like a challenge, go for it. But if you're just looking for no stress, low anxiety, rolling some dice with friends, this probably is not going to be the best box to start with. Another weakness is the one-time use weapons. Some weapons, like the Hunter-Killer missile, are limited to a single use per game, which could limit the strategic value if they're not used judiciously. You know what I mean? Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's successful or it fails. It's literally a one-time deal. Also, that other stratagem that is a one-time deal that pretty much immobilizes your opponent's army. One-time deal. And then finally, the third weakness is going to be dependence on command units. Much of this force's effectiveness really relies on leadership units like Major Karsk and his command squad. If these units are neutralized early in the gameplay, the rest of the units are going to underperform. Karsk is the cog in the wheel. He's the glue to this box. The army will not be effective without him, because who are you going to get to issue orders? All right. Opportunities. Indirect fire weapons, which is great. You have these two just mammoth weapons that can just bear arms onto your opponent relentlessly. So that is definitely an opportunity. Area of effect attacks, you have a lot of weapons with blast, which means if your opponent has, 5 model units on the field, which I think that's the basic layout, is a unit of 5, you're getting extra attacks, so area of effect damage, torrent, ignores cover, blast, heavy. These are all great opportunities for you to be able to score maximum carnage against your opponent. And the ability to neg opponents or negate opponents is really good. So there you go. We've talked about it numerous times. You have some really powerful tools that can immobilize your opponent and his army. Threats. You're looking at high toughness armies. So if you have armies that have 2-up saves like durable, or they have toughness 5, toughness 6, you're going to struggle a little bit there. Toughness 12, if they have vehicles, you might struggle a little bit there. High toughness armies might cause a problem. Fast moving armies like world eaters that move really quick are going to be a problem, because they're going to be on top of you before you know it. And again, if they surround your 10-man Cadian shock troop squad with Karsk, you could bring the Cadian shock troopers back, but you can't bring Karsk back. So, and then, like always, and like everything is a threat, this affects everything, is the game meta shifts. They've been really good about not changing the rules too much on Combat Patrol since 10E came out. But as we all know, they're updating everything. There's new versions of Combat Patrol. Combat Patrol rules coming out in White Dwarf magazines. They're redoing the composition of the boxes. So the army might be really fun to play right now, but as soon as they get a refresh, or as soon as they release another configuration for Combat Patrol, that could pose a threat to this army. So just keep that in mind. That's any army. Just keep it in mind. All right, guys, there you go. That was the deep dive into the Astra Militarum. I want to thank you guys for watching. I do own this Combat Patrol. I have not played Astra Militarum since 10E came out. I'm kind of ashamed to admit that, because I think their rule set for Combat Patrol is pretty neat. They can get slaughtered super easy, I can see that, but it does give you some really neat options and some abilities and some configurations to play. What do you think? Do you play the Astra Militarum Combat Patrol box? If you do, drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this Combat Patrol box, what you might think the strengths or weaknesses are. If you've played against them, let me know how that went as well. So yeah, just let me know what's up. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe if you haven't done so. We really appreciate all the support as we're trying to build our community here, getting closer to 100 subscribers. So we appreciate each and every one of you guys. Again, I'm Watts. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.